Hello and welcome to a new series. I am trying this out on a Sunday. Going to see how it goes. It may well continue if we get lots of good feedback and stuff for it. So yeah, this is a new series. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. Back when I used to do quite a lot of sort of competitive racing, I got myself a little bit of a reputation. I was a relatively quick driver, but I was probably most well known for managing to roll pretty much everything I ever raced. This Corsa as being one of them, as you see here. Yeah, that's crashed. Basically, I managed to roll everything I've ever raced, and that got me thinking, what cars in Forza could I, roll? Is there anything that could actually beat me? Now, to keep things fair, all the cars were only allowed up to 3 modifications each. Our first contender is this, the Chrysler PT Cruiser GT. Now this is a 220 horsepower kind of cross between the Chrysler Prowler hot rod and the Americans take on a people carrier. Now the pros are that this is turbocharged, and when you put a turbo on any car that instantly makes it an awful lot better than it was originally. And you're also going to stand out. Now the cons are that, everyone's going to see that you're driving this hideous purple big American people carrier. It's not a pretty car. It is quite powerful, it is relatively fast for what it is, but I would not want to be seen driving one of these things around. Now for the Chrysler, this has been kept completely stock. Now that kind of gives it some issues in that the suspension is sort of road suspension as we go into super slow-mo here, which makes everything much cooler. I'm going to demonstrate why this is such a problem. Road suspension is designed for comfort, which generally means it's quite soft. As we see here, the suspension kind of compresses an awful lot on the left-hand side of the car, or as you'll see it on the screen, left-hand side, which makes making it roll over rather difficult. All the sort of forces are going through the suspension down into the road and compressing the suspension, as opposed to rolling the car over, which is kind of what we want here at the moment. There's also another issue in that it's not actually that easy to roll a car. You have to aim for a rather specific point on the curb, and sometimes you end up taking the racing line like I did there, and that's not helping things either. So after sort of 10-15 minutes, it wasn't really particularly going anywhere. It was getting on 2 wheels a little bit through the curbs, but it was proving rather difficult. Then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I have no idea how I managed to do this, but there we go, it's rolling and flipping and body panels are falling off, and then it's parked. So yeah, we have managed to roll the Chrysler PT Cruiser. No modifications were used at all on this, and now it looks an awful lot better sort of sitting on its roof. The underside is far better than the normal bodywork. So yeah, there's one car down. Let's see what else we can do. The second car we have here is the Cadillac Eldorado Beritz. I can't pronounce car names, which is a bit bad considering what I do, but yeah, this is the Eldorado convertible. It goes invisible. That's a new trick for the car. This is a 345 horsepower sort of American Grand Tourer. The pros are, it's actually quite powerful. 345 horsepower is a relatively large amount. However, the cons are, it needs the power because it weighs 2.2 tons and it's about the same sort of size as a battleship. It's not really the easiest car in the world to drive, and I wouldn't imagine it'd be that practical. It all goes invisible again. That is a new trick. I think I'll add that to the pros actually. It can turn invisible briefly from the camera angles. But we're going to give this a try. Now I will say that first thing I did is upgrade the suspension. I did a couple of runs with it with the standard road suspension, and it didn't even lift a wheel off the ground. So we've got it with the upgraded suspension. I stiffened the suspension and raised the ride height so that it should be easy to roll over. But as you can see, it's still not particularly easy. Still barely lifting a wheel off the road. Here we go again. We're getting a little bit more promising now. It's got a couple of wheels off the road. It's sort of going on its side nearly. But yeah, this is a very tricky car to roll over. I think it's to do with its length as opposed to anything else. Here we go again. Oh, no, come on, roll, no. Oh, it's getting there. We are getting there slowly. Now, I'm going to show you that from the, this is the view that I was seeing it from. And yeah, I might have been sort of leaning slightly in my chair in a vague effort to try and get it to roll over. That's so close to tip it over, but nope, it wasn't having any of it. But of course I was persistent, and eventually, this did take a while, we managed to get the Cadillac to fall over, and it sort of does a little spin on its roof, and then it's parked. So that was with just one upgrade, the suspension, which I then tuned so that it would make it roll over easier. As a standard car, this is near impossible to roll. The suspension is far too soft, and it is far too long. The final car we have to try and crash is this, the Lincoln Continental. This is another American Grand Tour, and yes, I've just realised now that I've used all 3 American cars, and that wasn't intentional. That was kind of accident. I don't quite know how that ended up, but yeah, here is what we're going to try and roll next. pros for this car is it has a 7-litre V8, which sounds amazing, except for it's only got 300 horsepower, which isn't much considering the size of the engine. The cons are, well, it weighs 2 tons again, and it's another car that's the sort of length of the Battleship. Now, to even get this car to lift 2 wheels off the ground, I had to do suspension upgrade and weight reduction, so it now weighs 1.7 tons, but that's still an awful lot. This also isn't a particularly easy car to drive, as I'm now going to demonstrate and completely miss the curb, and there's a wall, sorry, ignore me kind of crashing. This is the hardest of the 3 cars to manage to roll, which is surprising considering it's actually a little bit smaller than the Cadillac, although not by much. As we see here, it's not really getting its wheels off the ground at all very easily. And again, it's strange, this car. It looks relatively high. It's now eventually sort of getting the wheels off the ground. It's a particularly difficult car to roll. I'm not 100% sure why that is. It's got the suspension as high as it goes and as stiff as it'll go. Here I managed to kind of get it looking like it's going, and for some reason it doesn't want to stop in time. The brakes aren't brilliant. And I love how I've just got into a wall at sort of 30 miles an hour and the damage it's done is a little scratch on the front bumper. I wish real cars had that sort of damage protection on them. It would make things a lot safer, but yeah, I don't know how it managed to get away with a tiny scratch from that collision of the wall. But eventually I was persistent and kept going. This is probably about 40 minutes in, and there we go, it's rolled, and now it's crashed and it's completely broken and parked on its side. So yeah, there we go. It's 3 cars that haven't defeated me. I have managed to roll all of them. The Lincoln is by far the most difficult out of them not to drive. It's now having a little bit of a twitch on the ground. But yeah, I am undefeated by the cars of Forza Motorsport, which I'm quite happy about. So I'm going to leave you with a sort of super slow-mo video of the Lincoln falling over. If you like this series, then don't forget to leave a like and a comment. And if you want to see a car rolled, I don't know, car you don't like, or a particularly silly car, then leave it in the comments section and I will have a look through them and I shall pick some more to sort of generally throw out the scenery and see what happens. But until next time, goodbye.